this hour, bad news for Ocasio-Cortez. She's now rocked by a second violation this week after a new complaint has just emerged. Washington Free Beacon reports that the Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York hit with an ethics complaint alleging that the freshman Democrat improperly used House resources for political purposes in violation of ethics rules. The Foundation for Accountability and Civic Trust, otherwise known as FACT, which is a Washington, D.C.-based watchdog group, filed the complaint to the U.S. House of Representatives Office of Congressional Ethics, requesting that the committee investigate Ocasio-Cortez's use of official resources on her social media accounts. They state here that in the first 2 weeks of February 2009, Ocasio-Cortez posted numerous videos of official House floor and committee proceedings on her political Twitter and Instagram accounts. The complaint reads, additionally, Ocasio-Cortez's political Instagram page, she directly links to her official House Instagram account and includes a link for political contributions. Alongside the posts of official video footage and her comments on official action, there are also numerous ethics rules violated in this case, all of which require separation between official action and resources and political action and fundraising. House ethics rules prohibit members from using official taxpayer-backed resources for any political or campaign-related activities. The watchdog says that Ocasio-Cortez committed a number of violations. Quote, this is a straightforward violation. House ethics rules prohibit members from using official taxpayer-funded resources like House video for any political purpose. Numerous exhibits for the alleged violations are included within the complaint. We have a copy of it here. Let's take a look at this a little closer. This is the actual letter that was sent by FACT. It's 17 pages long. You can see here, this is the request, the official request for the investigation into the ethics violations. Exhibit A is where it gets really crazy because it lists page after page of every example where she violated that specific division, where she's not allowed to use the government resources for political efforts. So you can see here, this is one page. This looks like I believe this is her Twitter account. And then you have even more. Let's go to the next one here. This is a retweet that she has here. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez retweets this. So these are all violations. Every single one of these is a violation using her social media accounts for an abuse of the House ethics rules. And again, there's another tweet right there. It continues more and more. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a.o.c. That looks like the personal Twitter. And then there's another one here. Another retweet. So she's got retweets, she's got tweets, she's got Instagram posts, and it just goes on and on and on. Now it looks like a lot of these are retweets, which apparently you can't even do that either. This full thread has my 5-minute corruption game questioning from today's hearing. So just by her retweeting different elements, she's in violation of the House ethics rules. So it just goes on and on. One after another after another. Another one here. Big pharma companies. There she goes again. a.o.c. She keeps retweeting this. Now this. Now this. Now this. It's all garbage. But all these, every single one you see here, every social media post is an ethics violation. You have to keep these things separate. Instagram. There's the account, the official account there. My goodness, it keeps going. There's even more. More Instagram posts. Look at this. Keeps going and going and going. Wow. More. Ethics violation after ethics violation after ethics violation. Another one. And that looks like that's the last one there. Now, they write here that Representative Ocasio-Cortez has not only violated the most basic congressional ethics laws on the books, she has done so repeatedly, as I just showed you with all those exhibits. And those are the words of Kendra Arnold, who's the executive director of FACT. And they say here, quote, these laws exist so that elected representatives are not using official business on behalf of the American people to push a political agenda or gain a political advantage. These are clear violations, and the Ethics Committee needs to act. Now, they continue also that after the Free Beacon contacted Ocasio-Cortez's office, Corbin Trent, her communications director, called but did not want to provide a comment on the complaint. This is the second complaint filed against Ocasio-Cortez this week. So, quite a rough week for Ocasio-Cortez. Yeah, maybe she should focus more on just getting those cows to stop farting than playing around on social media, creating ethics violations. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi.
Who has burst onto the scene after she beat Joe Crowley in New York.
That's right. The story this morning alleges that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's chief of staff ran a $1 million slush fund by diverting campaign cash to his own companies. We're learning this from a complaint from the National Legal and Policy Center.
There he is in the backdrop there, by the way.
Right, he's a
Psychiatric Chakrabarti.
Big fortune, Silicon Valley, and worked for Bernie Sanders' 2016 campaign.
It is alleged that his companies appeared to have been set up for the sole purpose of obscuring how the political donations were used. And we've got a soundbite from Tom Anderson from the National League. And he says, I have never seen a more ambitious operation to circumvent reporting requirements. Representative Ocasio-Cortez has been quite vocal in condemning so-called dark money, but her own campaign went to great lengths to avoid the sunlight of disclosure.
That's the group that filed this complaint yesterday with the FEC. The reason for this is apparently, you have the political action committees, and he had two of those under his name. He established these two, and there was $885,000 in these PACs that was moved over to private companies, which he also controlled.
Right. It's all about disclosure. In PACs, you have to disclose money, but then when it's a private company, nobody knows where the money goes.
That's right.
Right. It went to a brand new company called Congress LLC, a company that, unlike the PACs, is exempt from reporting all of his expenditures over $200. And this is way over $200. So Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was asked about that, and she diverted.
We should be talking about taxes, and his bank account, his financial statements, because that's where I think...
Filed Monday against Ocasio-Cortez's chief of staff, Psycha Chakrabarti, alleges he funneled over $1 million in donations into his private companies for the sole purpose of hiding how those donations were used. The Washington Examiner reports the cash transfers from the PACs, overseen by Psycha Chakrabarti, the freshman Socialist Democrats' chief of staff, run counter to her pledges to increase transparency and reduce the influence of dark money in politics. Chakrabarti's companies appear to have been set up for the sole purpose of obscuring how the political donations were used. The complaint filed by the National Legal and Policy Center, a government watchdog group, alleges Chakrabarti violated the $5,000 limit a PAC can spend on an individual candidate. Campaign finance attorneys described the arrangement as really weird and an indication there's something amiss. They said there was no way of telling where the political donations went, meaning they could have been pocketed or used by the company to pay for off-the-books campaign operations. Who could have ever predicted that an avowed socialist would be okay with skirting the law? Is Ocasio-Cortez so convinced of the moral urgency of her cause that the ends justify the means? Of course, the more important question is, will the fact that Oc identifies as a Democrat mean her chief of staff will get off with no, or very little, consequence? Looks like Oc may have the shortest congressional career ever if this fake complaint holds up. I'm actually disappointed. She was so much fun. P.S. Don't tell Nancy you're the boss. Bill Mitchell, at Mitchell v. March 4, 2019. The DNC has become so weak, so disconnected that they are letting a 29-year-old, with no experience make threats and call shots. This is your new hero? Hashtag fix it. https://t.co/nldw8z68t. Andrew Pollack, at Andrew Pollackful, March 4, 2019. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren pledged together to end U.S. Forever War. https://t.co/x5er21zjpic.twitter.com/zufrich. Newsweek, at Newsweek, March 4, 2019. Facebook has greatly reduced the distribution of our stories in our readers' news feeds and is instead promoting mainstream media sources. When you share to your friends, however, you greatly help distribute our content. Please take a moment and consider sharing this article with your friends and family. Thank you.
Just letting you know. So that being said, her chief of staff obviously was on the campaign. Her chief of staff set up these shills to funnel money to the campaign. Now, this particular report happens to come from Fox, all right? I don't necessarily always believe everything Fox says because they're a sham organization too, but this is chief of staff illegally moved $885,000 in campaign contribution off the books, FEC complaint alleges. Now, there's several things that are weird about this. One, he took the money from the PAC and put it into an LLC. I don't even know why. So these people thought that they were giving money to a PAC, and then he moves that money into an LLC. It doesn't even make any sense as far as, I mean, it still went to the campaign. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't even make any sense that this would happen. It just doesn't make any sense. So that being said, why would he create a separate LLC, take the money from these PACs, move it to an LLC, and then get it off the books and illegally move it to her? It's just like ridiculous. So why is Jerry Nadler, Democrat, sitting there and wants to investigate campaign violations, and rather than looking at AOC, which is what he should be doing, he's literally looking at Donald Trump. And I even saw Marie Harf. Now, if you don't know anything about Marie Harf, she is a blonde, ridiculous Democrat talking puppet head. All right? She has a show that she does with this other guy named Benson. They do this radio show. When she first started out, she didn't have glasses on. I'm just telling you. She wears glasses like mine. I have to have glasses. I've had these since I was in second grade. I mean, some glasses. All right? So they put glasses on her to make her look like she's smarter than she really is. She's really stupid. All right? So she's sitting there on the couch with Harris Faulkner and Brian Kilmeade, I might add, brings up the fact that these people, Cohen brought out a check of $35,000. Now, think about this for a minute, people. $35,000, which is the same exact amount as Michael Cohen's monthly retainer for services rendered, because he's like on retainer with the Trump organization. So here he is, brings out a check that Donald Trump wrote him for $35,000, and he says it's hush money for Stormy Daniels. There's no evidence that $35,000